Good evening, I'm Prasad Michael and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. It's day 74 of Najib Abdul Razak's SRC International Criminal Trial. Today, the defense team got a chance to re-examine Najib in the defense stage of the trial, so let's see what went down in the High Court in Kuala Lumpur. Former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak testified today that it would be ludicrous of him to take money from a Ministry of Finance incorporated company like SRC International. Najib said this during re-examination by his defense counsel, who was asking about the prosecution's assertion that the accused planted cronies on the board of SRC to transfer 42 million ringgit into the accused bank account. Najib testified that this is strengthened by the fact that there is no written evidence that he specifically instructed the transfer of 42 million ringgit into his account as a bribe for him to ensure approval for the government guarantee on a related 4 billion ringgit loan to SRC. Najib said, quote, "If I had a criminal mind to cheat, I would be a stupid person, as you do not put stolen or bribe money into your account, as a lot of people would know about it, as Bank Negara would know. I may not be the smartest person, but I am not that stupid." Remember all the items seized from properties linked to Najib weeks after GE14? Well, now, Najib and his family will finally get a chance to get close to the seized items. Najib Abdul Razak and his family will be allowed to physically inspect the items allegedly linked to 1MDB, which were seized by the police after receiving the green light from the Kuala Lumpur High Court. Judge Mohammad Zain Mazlan allowed the application, but with conditions. First, the inspection must be conducted in a premise designated by the prosecution. Secondly, that only the applicants be allowed to inspect the items under supervision of the prosecution's personnel. Mohammad Zaini later changed this to include one solicitor from each party who will not touch the items. Third, that the inspection will only be done once and it will be done within 2 weeks from today. And finally, the applicants can file the affidavits by March 2nd, 2020 after the inspection of the items. Najib's lawyer Mohammad Shafi Abdullah said it was important for Najib and his family to inspect the items seized to identify whether they were received as gifts or acquired by themselves. By now, Najib is no stranger to court proceedings. He's there almost every day, but someone else who was supposed to show up today couldn't due to health reasons. It's the first day of Rosmah Mansoor's corruption trial at the Kuala Lumpur High Court, but she did not make an appearance. According to her counsel, Jagjit Singh, his client is unwell. Although he requested for details of the medical report not to be read out as it could embarrass his client, lead prosecutor Gopal Sriram, however, read a portion of the report. The veteran lawyer stressed that the prosecution did not accept the medical report. Sriram also pointed out that he too suffered several of Rosmah's conditions. He then provided his own diagnosis of the condition. Quote, "Her only problem is I think she suffers from an overdose of publicity and wealth." The trial will commence on Wednesday. Before Pakatan Harapan can face GE15, the coalition will be tested in the Sarawak state election, and one coalition partner is taking a cautious approach. The Sarawak state election is due to be held in June 2021, and for DAP it's not going to be a walk in the park, unless of course it's a park with a steep uphill path. According to Party Secretary General Lim Guan Eng, they are expecting a challenge in the land of the Hornbills. This is because regionalism in Sarawak remains high, and it is pertinent for the federal government to bring development to the state, Lim Guan Eng told the Borneo Post. Lim was quoted as saying that Pakatan Harapan needs to convince Sarawakians that the federal government cares about them and that they are part of the country's mainstream development. Quizzed on whether Harapan's yet-to-be-fulfilled promise on recognizing the Unified Examination Certificate, or UEC, would affect its chances in the state polls, Lim insisted that all promises made would be fulfilled in due time. He said DAP leaders never make promises they cannot fulfill. Before this, all deaths caused by the coronavirus has been in China. That changed on Sunday with the first death outside the country the virus originated from. The Philippines on Sunday reported that a 44-year-old Chinese man had died of the new coronavirus, the first fatality outside China. The Department of Health said there were now 2 confirmed infections in the Philippines. The deceased man from Wuhan in Hubei province, the epicenter of the outbreak, and a woman he was traveling with. They said the man, who was admitted to a government hospital in Manila on the 25th of January, had developed severe pneumonia and died on Saturday.
Over the course of the patient's admission, he developed severe pneumonia. In his last few days, the patient was stable and showed signs of improvement. However, the condition of the patient deteriorated within the last 24 hours, resulting in his demise.
The death toll of the virus has passed 360, with more than 17,000 infected. Cities like Wuhan remain in virtual lockdown, with travel severely restricted, and China is facing mounting international isolation, as well as due to restrictions on flights to and from the country. At least another 171 cases have been reported in more than 24 other countries and regions, including the United States, Japan, Thailand, Hong Kong and Britain. AirAsia shares fell as much as 11% to 1.27 ringgit, their lowest since May 2016, while those of AirAsia X tanked 12% to their all-time low of 11.5 cent. All this because of an alleged bribery scandal involving Airbus. The Securities Commission Malaysia said on Sunday it will examine whether AirAsia Group and AirAsia X broke security laws after UK prosecutors accused executives of receiving bribes from Airbus for buying planes. The allegations came to light on Friday when Airbus agreed to a record $4 billion settlement with France, Britain and the United States. Prosecutors said it had bribed public officials and hidden payments as part of a pattern of worldwide corruption. According to Britain's Serious Fraud Office, between October 2013 and January 2015, Airbus then parent company EADS paid $50 million to sponsor a sports team that was jointly owned by two people described as AirAsia Executive 1 and Executive 2. The SFO said the executives were rewarded for an aircraft order from Airbus, an allegation AirAsia denied on Saturday. On Saturday, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission said they are investigating the allegations from Britain. AirAsia said it has never made any purchase decisions that were premised on Airbus sponsorship and denied any wrongdoing. They added that they would fully cooperate with the MACC. Airbus said it would not comment on the Malaysian investigations. Coming up next, Malaysia's drug reform plans get an influential backer. A school in Malaysia is helping refugee children get an education. All that and more after this. We interviewed former Swiss President Ruth Dreifuss last weekend. At the age of 80, she's not slowing down. In fact, she's been revving up her efforts on humanitarian issues, and drug policy reform is at the top of her agenda. Treatment instead of punishment. This is the change in mindset being advocated by Ruth Dreifuss with the Global Commission of Drug Policy. She was in Malaysia last week to talk about the innovative plan of Health Minister Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad to decriminalize personal drug use and abandon a 40-year policy of harsh penalties, which includes the death sentence. After the Rethinking Drug Policy in Malaysia forum, Ruth sat down with Malaysia Kini.
The person is not dependent but consuming drug, controlling their drug consumption, harming nobody, perhaps on the long run harming himself, his health, but no other people. Why should he be in prison? Is the prison not there to protect the society against people who harm the society and harm the other people? So I see no reason to punishment. And I see the consequences of punishment. I see lives destroyed by being in jail.
She was a pioneer in changing perspectives and convincing traditionalist mindsets that extending a friendly hand to drug addicts would bring them out of the shadows and return as functioning members of society.
And this is the reason why the health minister says, I want to do my job. My job is to cure the people and to bring them health services. If I cannot do my entire job. I mean, this is the way I understand his position. This was also our position. So let me do my job.
In June last year, Health Minister Dr. Zulkifli Ahmad announced that the government planned to work towards removing criminal penalties for the personal possession and use of drugs. He has repeatedly explained that the plan is not an attempt to legalize drug abuse, but instead it will be done to help addicts get proper treatment. The minister has said that the plan will be implemented within the first term of the Harapan administration. It is estimated that there are more than 80,000 Rohingya refugees registered in Malaysia under UNHCR. Many of them have to wait years for resettlement in a third country. As a result, their children often miss the best time of their lives to get an education.
Nestled inside this shop lot is the Rohingya Integrated School of Excellence, a school founded by the NGO Islamic Relief Malaysia or IRM in 2017. Today there are 41 students and 7 teachers in this private school.
Kita berpandangan generasi masyarakat Rohingya ataupun mereka yang memerlukan di masa akan datang, mereka perlu meneruskan kehidupan dan cara yang terbaik ialah untuk memberikan pendidikan.
It cost the NGO approximately 10,000 ringgit a month to run this school. There are currently 4 classes here and the students are taught the Malay and English language, science, mathematics, Islamic studies and arts.
Di sini, dia tak macam sekolah yang biasa 7 tahun darjah 1, 8 tahun darjah 2 kan. Tapi kat sini kita test dulu dengan dia punya tahap literasi. Kalau katakan literasi level dia sangat low walaupun dia umur 8 tahun, kita tetap masukkan dia dalam kindergarten.
Kita mungkin akan wujudkan bahasa Rohingya dan bahasa Myanmar kat sini. Sebab permintaan KPM dia kata kita tak nak terus hilang bahasa diorang daripada... Sebab kita ada kindergarten kan, sebab diorang belajar bahasa Melayu je. Kan tak arti cakap bahasa Myanmar pula kan. So kita akan wujudkan lah.
All students who complete their studies here will be given certification that is recognised.
Kita ada providekan CJ berhenti sekolah yang akan dia akan di endorse oleh UN. So maksudnya kalau untuk in future dia orang nak sama belajar ke universiti yang ada terima untuk refugee, memang benda tu valid lah. CJ tu memang valid.
Sekolah ni belajar banyak subjek, bahasa Melayu, art, mathematics, science, English.
Due to years of prosecution, the literacy rate among the Rohingya refugees worldwide barely reaches 40%. Hopefully, with access to an education, these children here will have a better future than their parents.
And here are more news highlights from today. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Prasad Michael. Thank you for watching.